Alright, greetings everyone. Today we are going to continue with where we ended, from where we ended the last time. I think you can all recognize the design on screen. This is what we're actually going to be working with. So last time we were able to work with this design, and we completed the design in Revit. It's a design of a bungalow. I'm sure you should all recognize this bungalow. So today we are going to proceed, and we are actually going to bring it down into Lumion, and then we do some work. But first, I would just like to show you a little bit some few tips on in Revit on how you can do to really make your design to really stand out and make it to really look professional. So we are going to be looking at that first. Please, as you are watching the stream, if you have any question, just ask in the comment section, okay? If you are having any question, you just ask in the comment section. Okay, just will give a little bit of time for others to join, say just like 1 minute, and then we proceed. We'll just give like a minute for others to join, and then we proceed. Please make sure you share the live with others so they can also join and follow up. If you have colleagues that are also in the field, just make sure you share the live with them so they can also join and follow up. All right, I think that is enough time. Let's proceed. So this is what the design we'll be looking at. We're working on this design in Lumion today. We've worked on this before. I think you should all recognize it. So like I said, the first thing we'll do is I'm going to show you how you can actually work with, like, fine-tune your design to really make it look good, you know, when you're bringing out floor plans. So the floor plans should really look good first. It's just going to be a quick tip because that's not actually what we are supposed to do today, but I just want to just give a quick tip. That's for Revit users. For those of you who have taken the Revit course, and for those of you who aspire to take it, or those who are using Revit, this is just a quick tip for you. Now, if you have your floor plans, say like this, let's say you've done your floor plans and brought in your furnitures and all that with your dimensions and all, I'm sure you have been seeing how they do some plans, and you see the plans. Let me get rid of this. Let's not get rid of it. Let's just hide that. Hide element. Okay. Now we just have the blank plan here. So this is the living room. This is the garage, you know, and I'm not going to be naming all that, but let's say we have already done this and we've done our dimensioning. Let me just dimension this a little bit, just this space. Okay, and we've done our labelings. Let's just say living room or parlor, don't know, whatever you want to call it. And then we got a bedroom here, got some other rooms here, you know, and stuff. I'm just gonna name just this one, and maybe do the dimensioning too. All right, there we go. Now, at this point, what you might want to do to make this plan to look kind of realistic, really, and not really just look like the normal plans that we always see on daily basis, is you might want to make the plan to have some shadows, you know, and stuff. And actually, in Revit, it's very easy. The first thing you have to make sure is now we are working in the wireframe view. If we were to try to do that here, it's not going to go. The reason we're working in wireframe was just because we had to see the underlay which we brought in, which is this, what I just, if I was to reset this, that is the underlay that we're working with. So I'm just going to go back and hide that again. Just select this, make sure we're selecting the underlay. The underlay is not, well, actually, it's not really the underlay. That is the plan that we brought from AutoCAD that we were using to actually bring out this design. So I'm just going to hide that. Then I'm going to switch the view from wireframe to say maybe hidden lines or even shaded, something like this. Now I think let's do hidden line. And then all I need to do is just to turn on the shadows. Now, you see turning on the shadows now, even though this is a floor plan, but this looks like kind of a cut section kind of plan, you know, and stuff. And I think this just looks a little bit more beautiful, right? Now you can actually adjust the way you want these shadows to look like. If in case it is too much, you can actually do some settings, you know, and stuff as far as that is concerned. But yeah, briefly, this is just how you actually do it. Okay, if you don't want that, just a quick click there and you actually turn that on, turn it back off. And this is where you actually can adjust the sun settings, you know, the lighting, you know, and all that. So you can just play around with all this, and it is actually going to add, increase or reduce the shadows and stuff. I think it just looks, you know, just add some sort of style, you know, to it if you can actually have it, you know, like this. All right, that was just a quick tip. Now let's actually move into our work of today. So this is the plan that we have actually designed already in Revit, and now we're going to move it to Lumion. So we already have the Lumion plugin installed. Of course, you know you need a plugin in order to move from Revit to Lumion, or you can actually export this as an FBX file. But I don't really like this because sometimes you don't really get the best results. So it is always better to just get the Lumion plugin installed. It's a free plugin on the Autodesk website. So if you have Revit installed, you just go search for Lumion to Revit or Revit to Lumion export. You'll see the plugin there. You can easily download it. Okay. All right. So this is it. Now when you download and install it, you are going to have this tab. And then from here now, I can just export this plan because this is what I want to use in Lumion. Okay. So we already had everything done. I think we even had the lighting and everything. One thing we did not do is we didn't put any lighting in the swimming pools and stuff anyway. But yeah, that's okay. We're going to work with it like this. Um, just a minute. Yeah, there was actually no lighting in the swimming pool. We might actually want to do that. Anyway, that's okay. Let's work with it like this. So I'm just going to click here to export. Now for the surface smoothing, you want to put this at high. You can allow it to normal, but I always like high because it really makes the export really look smooth and beautiful. So make sure collect textures and export modes are checked. And for the insertion base point, always make sure this can, you just allow this to the project node. Well, by default, you don't even have to change this, except you are working with a project that you actually had to um, identify or manually put in this base point. Of course, you know there are such projects, but by default, always just allow this like this. Don't actually change this. Okay, now I will just click on export, and I'm just going to call this bungalow. And if you see yesterday when we were doing the interior design tip, I told you about the collider file type. Now the collider file type, you can see we're exporting it in collider, and you'll see it's going to have the extension DAE. Okay, so this is better than an FBX file format. So that is why I didn't actually export as FBX, except you don't have the Lumion plugin, then you can export. But I think the Lumion plugin, Autodesk always provided, or most sites they always provided on most of their softwares. Even if you are using any other software, always try to get a plugin that exports from that software to Lumion. Okay, it gives you better results. All right, so I'm just going to click on save. It's going to take a little bit of time to actually perform that export, depending on the size of the project and depending on how good your system is too. All right, there we go. It has been exported. Remember, we saved it on the desktop. So I'm going to open up Lumion now. This is Lumion. And now in here, we're going to start by creating a new project. Of course, we want to create a new project, so I go to create new. We can select any of these templates here to start with. You can choose any template you want, depending on how or the nature of the terrain. I'm going to go with this plain environment, which is just a flat, endless environment. So we just click there and we wait for it to open, and boom. Now, when you are in here in Lumion, there are a couple of things which I would like to explain. Sometimes some of you working in Lumion here, it is always very difficult. You can't really move around freely like this. The reason is that if you come to the settings here, you will see that this has actually, maybe this was set to super high, you know, your editor resolution at 100. Just drop this down. Now let me drop it down so you see what I'm talking about. If I was to reduce this to maybe 50% and I put the editor resolution to medium and I go back into that scene, now you're going to see that the terrain is looking kind of blur. I think let me explain this maybe using a tree or something. Let me just put a tree here. Okay, look at this tree for instance. Now you see the detail of this tree. It's not really that realistic now, but if I was to come here into the settings and I increase this all the way up and I go back there, now you see this is more realistic. The problem with this is it takes more system resources. Now if you have a system that is very good, there is no problem with this, okay? But if you realize that if you're working in Lumion and it is very difficult for you to even move around, just come to these settings and you drop this down, okay? How do you know if your system is good? If you come here to the benchmark, it rates this with respect to the percentage. If your system is showing 20% or 30 or 40 or whatever percentage that is here, it means that that is how your system can actually operate, okay? So if your system was showing like say maybe 20 or 30%, it doesn't mean your system is bad, no. It just means that you cannot really do like very large projects on very large surface areas. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, so just come in here and you do this change and it should be good to go. As for this system is not bad, so I'm gonna allow everything at the maximum. And let's go back in there. So that was just a quick tip too. All right, let's get rid of this tree. Okay, now back in here, what we're going to do now is we're going to import the project. So I come here to place and I want to actually make sure that I am in imported models, and I go import new model. By the way, the version of Lumion that I'm using is 12.5. Remember I was on the desktop and you see the extension DAE. So I select that, click on open, and You can put it in a folder if you want, but here I don't, I'll just allow it in the default folder. And I just click the big check mark and we wait for it to come in, and there we go. Now when it comes in, it's attached to your cursor, so it's asking you to precise where you're going to place the project. There's no problem, you can just click. Now when you click, it doesn't, you have placed the project, but it is still there. If I was to click again, I'm still going to place it. So after I click one, I just press the escape key to actually cancel out of there, and now we are good to go. Now, one thing you should take note of is when you bring in your project, always verify if it has been placed and it is directly on the ground or part of it is submerged into the ground. And so what do I mean? Now if I was to use the movement tool here, let me try to move this up a little bit. Now you see that part of this project was submerged into the ground, so I just have to move it up a little bit, and there we go. Now you see, you can even see the road. So these are some of the components that were hidden, and this is actually okay now. All right, so now that we've brought the project in, let's just have a quick look around just to make sure that everything is okay, and I think everything is okay so far. Yes. Yeah, I think everything is okay. All right, so there we go. If there's any change, we'll of course go back to Revit and we do that change. All right, so the first thing you want to do when you have brought in your project is just to verify that. Now, after verifying that, you now just go into adding your materials. Now, layers, these are very important. Now that we're working on materials, it doesn't really matter what layer you're working on, since the materials have to do just with the project itself. But if we were to be working with things like trees or people or vehicles and stuff like that, we are actually going, it is going to be very important or very good that we actually put them on different layers. But since we are working with the materials now, I'm just going to allow it like this. Now, another thing you notice is if you look around, you see this just looks like an endless something. Looks like the environment just stretches to the end. There is no end to this. You see that? This is not really going to look good because you really have to try to make sure that your project is really looking as realistic as possible. So I'm going to bring in this object, this one, and I place it. Now, what is this? This is just something that was designed, and then we have added, or I've just added a tree paint or picture to it, just like what you saw we were doing yesterday when we actually added the video or the pictures, you know, on the screen and stuff. So it is similar, but this was designed in a circular form. And after doing that and adding this, if I was to go to materials and I select this, now you're going to see that we have a backdrop here of trees. Do you see that? That is what is giving that effect. Only you, the architect, understands that, but any other person looking at it is going to be like, okay, oh, this looks like trees. If you were to use Lumion to put this amount of trees, it's not like it's impossible. It's very possible, but it's going to take a lot of time. And then secondly, it's going to take a lot of system resources too. So, but using these backdrops like this, it's very light on the system, and it still creates a very good realistic effect. Okay, that is point number one. Point number two is for us to actually get a good position or a good angle where we're going to take a picture that we'll be using for the project. So let's come into camera here, and I want to set this to be the horizontal eye setting, and I'll place this camera at 20 degrees as a focal length. And is this angle really good? I think this is not bad. And let's just take a picture here. This is just a blank picture. Now I'm going to go up a little bit just so I am able to see. I want another picture behind here, actually looking at the pool and all that. what is this empty space here? Okay, let's take another picture behind here. Say something like this. Good. We're just going to take another one here too. All right, now let's go back inside. So the colors that we are going to use for this, we'll use just two colors, white and gray. Nothing much, nothing more. Okay, just two, white and gray. Now the first thing is this grass here. I want this to actually be some realistic. So now we are in the process of adding the material. So we'll start here. And I go to various. I want some 3D grass and I want this one. Now, as you can see, yes, so this is the grass, but it is kind of cutting through this. I don't actually really want this because these parts here, these footpaths are going to be concreted. It doesn't really look realistic for the grass to be cutting through it like this. So what we'll do is we double click there and then we come to grass size and we can drop that down a little bit. Okay, there we go. I think there's still a little part here for the grass length. Drop that down. Okay, yeah, that is better. I think this is really, it looks a little bit realistic like this. You can see the grass actually leaning at the edges here and stuff, but it doesn't cut through. Okay, now the next thing is let's set the material for this footpath here. I want this to be white, but there is one thing that I've always been saying. There is no edge in the world because you're only trying to make things to be as realistic as possible. You see this angle here, this is straight, it's very sharp, 90 degrees. Look at this one too. If somebody was to cast this actually, there is no way, no matter how good your form work is, that is going to make these angles like this to be exactly 90 degrees. I'm sure the engineers that are here should understand what I'm talking about. This angle here can never be exactly 90 degrees. So what we're going to do is just going to click there, come to standard, and what I want to do is first to set the material that is going to go here, and I'm just going to actually create that material. I want this to be a white material, but I don't just want to use a color since that is just going to be purely white. Let's see if we can use something else. So go to outdoor, let's use some concrete material. And why are we using concrete material? Let's go close. Now I want concrete material, but not this one. No, this one is not. I want something plain. Okay, good, something like this. Something like this. So this actually shows that this is some sort of concreted surface, but then it is that effect is still there. This is still too sharp. So if we were to open this, now coming in here to the wedging, I can apply a little bit of wedging there first, and this wedging just makes, watch what is happening to the edges now. So you see what the wedging is doing. Then if I was to just turn on the edges a little bit, you see now that these edges now become somehow blunt. Okay, it is not more, you see, look at that, it is not more just straight, and actually this is how those edges are actually supposed to look like. Now I can turn down the reflectivity all. I don't want any reflectivity or glossiness here since they are all concrete surfaces and stuff. And then for the colorization, I would like this to be a little bit dark, just a little bit. I don't want it to be this white, so just raise the colorization a little bit here. Okay, good, something like this. Yeah, and I am actually, yeah, I think this is looking good now for the footpath. And then for this driveway here, Actually, there is some modification that we're going to have to go back and do for this driveway, because there is no way that the car is going to come and step up. This is actually supposed to look like a ram that is just flat and actually merges with the surface here. Because if a car comes here, it means it has to come and climb. If it keeps doing that, it can break. So if we just make this to be a little bit, to look like a ram that just slopes, that is actually going to be good. And normally that is how it is supposed to look like. And another thing is the fence is kind of suspended. This fence, you can see, it is not flush to the ground. So we're going to have to make those changes. Now that we've already started applying the materials, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this material set. You are going to see why we are saving this. So I'll just call this materials save. And then I'm going to come back into Revit. And so whatever design software you're using, that is where you have to go make that change. I'll show you how you can do it in Revit. And you can see that here, this is the problem. So I'm going to select this. I go modify sub elements and I select this angle here. I give it an elevation of say negative 0.1, and you can see that that has created a slope there. And let us come this other way. Select this point here too. I give it an elevation of negative 0.1. Now if you want to make it, did we put a negative there? Oh no, negative 0.1. If you want to make it really look better, you can actually add some sub points in the middle, you know, and stuff. But since this is a live session, I don't want to be wasting a lot of time. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it like this. Okay, that is what we want. And now you see this is more, this is better. Even though we still have a little bit of an elevation here, which if we want this to completely sink, we can still further edit that. As a matter of fact, let's just give that 0.15, negative 0.15 maybe. And actually that goes, I think that is too much. That is too much. Let's do 0.12 maybe. Perfect. 0.12 is perfect. Let's come up here. Okay. Now we have that. And the next thing that we also notice is this. You see, this is suspending. This actually has to go into the ground. So I'm just going to select this. One of I hover over this, press the tab key to select all of them at once. And I'm going to give that a base offset of negative 0.2. There we go. So it looks like nothing has happened, but that has actually gone down 20 centimeters. And then don't forget, since we've done that change there, we'll have to adjust this too. So we give this now. So this was actually the base offset from the ground was 2 meters. You just have to work with this in your head. But now that we've shifted that one 20 centimeters, so this now has to be 1.8. And now you see it goes down and it flushes back on top of the fence. That's actually what we want. Okay, let's save this. Then we're going to do another export. And we just wait. There we go. That's exported. And now coming back in here. So since I just did an override of the other one, I'm just going to re-import this. Let me come here so you see the change as that imports back. So the changes we've done there is we've actually made this to be flat, and then we've brought this fence back down. So let us re-import this now, and we see that change. And you can see the changes, and I think this is better because a vehicle coming down and going in here is better than just having it the way it was before. So what do you notice? You notice that the material that we placed here has changed. It has gone back to the normal material, even the grass. Now this is why it was important that we actually save the material set. So what I'm going to do now is I'll load back that material set one, and now you can see the two material sets that are there, the grass and this other one, and boom. So this is why it's always good if in case you discover that you want to do a change in your project or something, you just load back the you save the material set before you go and you make that change. Okay, it's very important. All right, now let's continue. Now for this other part here, I want to put some ties here actually. And again, for the ties, after putting it, I will actually want this for this veranda. I will not want the edges to be this sharp. So let's select that. Let's go to indoor maybe. And we just look for some good ties here. Something. The reason I'm actually using indoor ties. I want something normal. Okay, let's just go for something like this maybe. But I want big ties, not this small. So we can edit this. So we can just increase the scale. So give us some huge ties, say something like this. And for this edge here, it's not really looking realistic. So we're going to have to play around with that a little bit. Let's add a little bit of wedge in there. Play around with the edges too to make it to be smoother. And there we go. I think that is better instead of allowing it like this. Okay, I think this is better. And then of course, I want these ties to be just a little bit dark since it's on the exterior. So let's bring colorization dark here to gray. And we'll just bring that up just a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Okay. And then coming here for this part, this is just like some sort of sitting space, outdoor sitting. And what I actually want to have here is some wooden material. So I want some wooden flooring here. I hope this is not the same material as inside. No. Let's apply the glass material first. You see there was a problem with this wall. We didn't actually make this to flush. The curtain wall did not flush here. Let's save this again. And where is that problem? Where is it? Here it is. So it's just a question of actually pulling this to flush here. There we go. Then of course, I noticed something too. This space here is quite big. This actually just has to flush. So we'll have to edit this floor. Just going to use the arrow keys to make it to go closer. And I think this is better. Yeah. Okay, we've done those two changes, and let's just export again. And just click here to re-import the model. And boom. Now you see the material still went back the same, even though the changes that we've made are now visible. As you can see, this is now flushed. And also here, it is flushed too. Oh, look here. There's a little something here that we missed. I also need to adjust this back in Revit, even though it's not really that visible. But always try to keep your design to really be as you see. Also, there's something here. This has to come out on flush. The ceiling has to come out on flush. Even though up here there's supposed to be the drainage system here, you know, and stuff. But we just gave this setback to show the drainage. But down here it's not showing realistic because this ceiling does not flush here. It's normally supposed to flush. Or alternatively, this wall actually just comes down straight, you know, stuff. So let's see. and this is the problem, as you can see. So if we were to edit that, that's the ceiling. Now how do we know if it is actually going to flush at the outside? So we can just select this and we just align it to this external wall. Did that work? Still needs some fine tuning. So I think what we'll instead do is now I don't want to move the whole wall down or it's gonna cut this. So what I'll do is I'll just trim this wall at this point here. Say like this. Then I just bring this down a little bit. Good, something like that. And then we can edit the ceiling now. Just use the arrow keys. Good, I think that is okay now. All right, now we also had that. Let's fix this real quick. So I'm just going to use well, let's just connect this like this. And it seems we're still going to be having a little bit of something here. Okay, there we go. And we export again, just like that. Coming back in Lumion, we just import that. Watch there, watch what is gonna happen. Boom, now that problem is solved. And if we were to go down, the problem here too is solved. All right, now let's just bring in back our materials since we already saved that. And there we go. Okay, so proceeding with this part, like I said, I want this part to actually have a wooden kind of material, and I want outdoor wood, so it is something that is water resistant and stuff. Well, you can still use the indoor one and you play around with the setting. It doesn't really matter. There's really no problem with that. Let's see this one. Okay, I actually like this one, but for the fact that it doesn't really look realistic, because if it was really realistic, we're not going to be having these even stripes here. Now, there is an advanced course for this where I get to talk of on surface imperfections and stuff. I'll just try to explain what that means. Now, surface imperfections means, if this surface was actually done by somebody, um, what is going to happen is this surface cannot just look as smooth as you see here. So, to change that, what I'm just going to do at this point here is I'm just going to play around with it a little bit. Since we have some wood wedging here, we'll just play around with that. But still, that doesn't really change anything as far as the imperfections are concerned. So what I might also still do here is we'll just play around with the offset a little bit. That's not really gonna change nothing much. That's just for the wooden texture. Maybe the scale, we can play around with the scale too. We're just trying to make it to look as realistic as possible. Now I'll drop down the reflectivity. I think it's too reflective. Let's skip that. The glossiness too. Keep it somewhere here. Okay. And I think that is better. As for this soil here, we're going to make this to be grass too. Some other 3G grass, since we have to do some planting in there. Oh, we can still make it to be soy. Yeah, we can make it to be something like this. Actually, some wet soy. Let's take this. Well, we'll come back to that. Now let's just take this now. And then come in here. Let's do the glass. So we have glass. I would just like to go say this one. But I don't really want this to be too transparent like this. So we can drop down the transparency a little bit. Not to make it to be too transparent. I mean, double-sided just means you want it to be transparent on both sides, you know, and stuff. If you drop it down to 0, oh, let's just keep it maybe something here. You can also play around with the glossiness and the reflectivity. The reflectivity just has to do with the reflection, how much you want objects to be reflected on this surface, in this case being the glass. Just a minute. Please, I would just like somebody to confirm if they can hear me. I'm seeing some people texting. I need just one confirmation from anybody. I need just one confirmation from anybody if they can actually hear me. Somebody is saying that they can't hear. I don't know if it is a problem. Admission from anybody if they can actually hear me. Somebody is saying that if it is a problem at my end, but I think my audio is okay. What can be the problem? Okay, thank you. All right, let's proceed. Oh, you're still not getting. What is the problem here? Let me see. Let me ask someone else to confirm. Okay, no, I think that's fine. Please, if you can't hear, that should just be a problem of your audio. I think it's fine. All right. Okay, so where were we? Okay, we're adjusting the properties of this glass. Like I was saying, reflectivity just has to deal with how much reflectiveness you actually want on, or how much you want objects to be reflecting, you know, on the glass and stuff like that, or on whatever material. So that's why you see sometimes I adjust the reflectivity, or sometimes I just place it to 0. For instance, you notice here, I think I dropped this down to, yeah, somewhere this. there are some circumstances where you might not even want any reflectivity, you know, they just set down to zero completely. But I think on this glass, it would be good to have some little reflectivity on it, you know, and stuff. And as we raise it up, you see what is happening. You see, as we increase it, it really starts picking up the reflectivity, you know, and stuff, even from afar. Now, I'm going to explain to you why, even though we are within this surface, it is picking up this reflectivity right from out there and stuff. That's just because the reflective plane of this is set somewhere in the center of this. So it is picking reflection from everywhere, even the sky, you know, and stuff. But what we're going to do as we're progressing is we're going to set a customized reflective plane, which is just going to be centered only around this building. By so doing, we make the reflectivity to just be around the structure. Let me show you what I mean. So if we were to come here to, I think it's utilities. Now you see reflection control. If I was to select that, and let's just place that, say, somewhere here. Now you see it just changes everything. Now, if I was to select this glass back and I turn on up the reflectivity, you see it doesn't go out of this place. You're not still seeing that those trees that were previously, you know, reflecting here and stuff. So that is why it is very important to also have a customized reflective reflection control plane. We have advanced courses for that if you want to know more. Okay, proceeding now for this aluminum, I'm going to use a standard material, and let's play around with the colorization a bit, make that to be a little bit dark. Now for the reflectivity, I've just dropped that down, say somewhere here, glossiness, I don't want any glossiness there. Colorization, I want that to be somehow grayish. Let me add that up a little bit. And one other thing still, most importantly, the wedging, play around with the edges a little bit, just to give it that realistic feeling. The relief, we play down with that a little bit. And for the wedging here, we give it with an aluminum wedging. Okay. And we'll use that material out there. So come in here, I'm just going to copy this. And now we'll paste this here. There we go. It's already pasted in here too. You know what? I want this door to actually have the same material. There we go. Okay. Now for this floor, since this is the parking, I might have wanted that this should not be ties, but this somehow have the same material. You know what? For symmetry, I'm just going to make this to have the same. So let's copy this and we paste this here. Standard paste. But out here for the actual driveway, out here, oh, let's change this to be grass. Not too wild. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now here we give the concrete surface. Maybe some pavement or something. Something like this is good. Reflectivity, we'll drop it down. Glossiness, nope. And the scale, colorization, I will just play around up with the color a little bit. Okay. Now I said we're keeping everything white and gray. So here for the pens, I'm going to use this plaster. Let's come close. And I actually like this. I want one that has this, all these scratches and stuff. This really looks like good bench work. So let's play around with it a bit. For the scale, just drop down the scale. So those imperfections should be there, but not too much. Yeah, something like this. And then, but since we're looking for a white, so we now just increase this just a little bit. And then the wedge ring here, we use the stone wedge ring. We increase this again, a little bit reflectivity, we drop that down. Closeness down. The relief a little bit down. Good. For the edges have to do with these angles here. As you can see. Paper that also a little bit. There we go. Okay. I think it's gradually coming to life. Now for the ceiling, we're just going to do some decorative kind of wooden kind of whatever ceiling there. Something not too fancy. Good, something like this that looks like this wooden ceiling type. I like this because it doesn't have a symmetrical layout. It looks realistic. It doesn't just look like, it doesn't look like this. Even though this too is not bad because we have some of the components. Now you see, as Lumion keeps going ahead, they are now trying to make the materials really look realistic. Now you can see that these different components are not all similar. See, this one is a little bit dark. You can see the way they're playing out. Yeah, because if this was just smooth, it's just going to look like a drawing, but you're trying to make something that looks like it should be realistic. You get the point. Yeah, so let's play around with this again a little bit and we add some more effects to it. So come into this. I'm going to add some wood wedge in there. Play around with the edges also a little bit. And for the colorization, I don't want this to be this bright, so I'm just gonna, oh, that is good. Yeah, something like that. And then come into the lighting. I'm just going to add a standard material there. And I make that to be just a little bit emissive, just a little bit, nothing too much. And bring this color down here. Yes, I want to make it, yeah, I don't want it white, say this color, but not too much. Something, yeah, something like that. Okay. And then coming up to the roof, I'm going to get something like this. And let's play around with this a little bit. There's actually really no need for reflectivity on the roof and glossiness. But for the displacement, we can make it to be a little bit bigger or smaller. Just depending. I think it's okay like that. For the wedging, do we have? Let's do some just this wooden wedging there. Good, something like this. All right, there we go. And then for this parapet, I want this to be white too. Yeah. Oh no. Let's give this something else. Let's do some stone something there. No, this is not what I'm looking for. I want something. Oh, let's go here and we see. No, I will know it when I see it. I will know it when I see it. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Okay, good, something like this. So we've actually added with an exterior brick and this one from polygon, but let's play around with that a little bit. So we'll add some little wedge into it and I'll play around with the edges too. Drop down the reflectivity, but we can just keep it to just be a little bit, not too much. For the scale, I think I'm okay with the scale. I don't really want it to be, yeah, something like this. Okay. What is happening with this exterior wall here? Okay, we have this white and we have this brick inside. I actually like the brick, but let's use another type of brick there, something more natural. Yeah, something like this. Oh, we can add the same material that we have on the parapet here for symmetry. Yeah, let's just copy this and replace here. Don't always make your design to have a lot on it. Just try to keep it as realistic as possible. Now for this, okay. And I want this material to actually wrap at this edge. You can see this edge here. So again, I'll copy this. Give that a standard material and paste. Okay, there we go. Let's save this. We've not saved since we started, which is not really bad, which is not good for the, it's gonna call that bungalow design. Okay, and now let's go behind. So behind here we have the pool. Is there enough sunlight that is gonna be coming here? What is here? I think there's supposed to be like a glass wall here. Is this okay to just be left open like this? No. I think we missed that, but I have to put that. Okay, let's deal with the water here first. Now for this, ooh, now you see the wall here. I would love that this inner part for the pool should have a different material, but you see the material here is the same as that of the wall, so we have to change that. So let's just save this material set again. Just save that real quick. And there are two things we've noticed. First, this glass wall here, and then secondly, this. So let's go back into Revit. We're going to look at the ground floor. Save. Let's turn off these shadows. Okay, so this is where we are, and this was the problem. The first problem was this. I'm already seeing another problem there still. So let us just do, we need to do a glass wall here. Storefront. Let's see the properties of this one. This other wall here is not even flushed to this. This leaves from the base, from the ground floor up to the roof level. All right. Meaning that the storefront that we're selecting here is to leave from the ground floor right up to the roof level too. And there is no base offset. So let's have this. There we go. Okay. And now coming now to this wall, we just need to select just one. And then we go edit type. But I'll duplicate this and I'll call this pool wall. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit just the material on the exterior surface, which is this gypsum wall board. And I'll call this, let's give that a tile kind of material, something that we are sure that is not already in the project. So let's say maybe something like this. Apply, okay, and okay, and okay again. It has been applied only to this wall. So we have to select, remember, we now have a pool wall there. We have to select all these other walls. See, this wall is still the other wall. So select that, we select this, this, and this. And we switch that to the pool wall. That's just all we need to do there. We save the project and then we do another export. Override this. Yes. Okay, going back into Lumion. Just so you see the changes. So two things we've done. We've added a curtain wall here, the storefront, and also this. So let's import. Boom. I think you can already see the change, right? So you now see this in here now has a different, and now I want to select this and I put some pool ties there, something like this. Yes. Without which, if we didn't go and do this change, if we didn't do this change, what will have happened was we will have actually had the same material as that on the wall here. But now you see, if I hover over it, you see the material is appearing in the material that we are just from adding in with it. Okay, and I think that is looking beautiful. I think the pool is okay. Both pools actually. Now let's deal with the water. So come in here. Water. Want something. Let's go for something like this. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there we have it. And that is it for the materials. I think we got all the materials in place. I don't think there is anything that we haven't done. Yeah. Oh, bed for out here. Now out here close to the pool, I'm also going to want that this material should be the same wooden material that we have this way. So let's pick up that material. Where is it? Oh, what happened? I thought we did a wooden material here, right? Oh, okay. For some reason that has changed. Let's just put that back in. Okay, that's good. I wanted the same material here. All right. Okay, so we have that. Oh, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. The doors are actually made of the same material as what we have here. That is why we had that difference. These doors. And that is not really going to stand out. So what do we do? Let's save this real quick. And now there is, so what we can do here is instead of changing that for the door, which might be a little bit tricky, but it's still very possible, we can still do that. Let me rotate to the door. This is the door right here. If I was to select this door, I go edit type. Now you see the material, the finished material that we have here is the cherry. And if we selected this floor too, and we went in here, go to edit type. You see the finished material here too is the cherry, so that is why we're having that problem. So what I'll do is I'll just change the material of this floor to another material. Let's just take this one. Okay, apply and okay. Now this is a different material. You see the material on the door remains, but material on both of these floors have changed, and that's actually what we want. Let's save this, and then I'm going to export this, and I overwrite this back. And then coming back in Lumion, I just re-import. Now you see this material here. Just watch what is going to happen. Boom, it remains here. But if we were to look now at the pool, you see it now has a different material. I mean here. So let's load in the material set back. And there you go. So here now I'm gonna put that wooden material. Let's just go for this one. Oh, this. I don't really like this one because it's just too smooth. Okay, maybe something like this. It's not bad. But I think the reflectivity is a little bit much there. Good. Let's go here. Here should be the same. But now for that door, I actually want this material, so I'm just going to copy this. I paste it now here. There we go. All right, I think that does it for the materials. Oh, one more. This garden lights. And also, I want to copy this. And I paste it in here. All right, okay. Okay, so there we go. We just save this. And coming back in here, now that we're done with the materials, we can now start moving into putting other components like the trees. So I'm just going to edit this layer, and I call this material, save. I'm going to move to a new layer, and I'll call this trees, save. There we go. Now let's see how the trees are looking like, or how they proposed. So I'm gonna unhide this back. Now you can see we have some grown trees, you know, close to the pool, two on both sides, and we got a couple of them all around like this, and also here. So we'll just go gradually. Okay, we'll start with these 3 and then these 5, which are at the entrance here. So we have 3 here and 5 here, and actually for these ones I would like to use high detail trees since they are actually very close. So remember, I'm on the trees layer. So coming now here, I want to go to trees, and I want to go to fine detailed plants, and I want some plants that are actually a little bit tall. Trees actually, not plants. I don't think we're really gonna have plants that are that. Let's go for trees. And something that looks decorative somehow. Actually need 3 of them. So I'm just gonna place, say, 1, but I scale this down. Yeah, something like this. And then I'm going to hold down the Alt key and the move tool. So I create a copy of this, 2, same. just like that. So I have three of them. But now, like I've said, whenever you do this and they're all the same, so you can just play around with this, make one to be maybe this one a little big. This one here should look like small somehow, and then this one here. Another thing you can also do is you can also play around with the greenness, you know, stuff, just to give it some difference. Just to make it look different, yeah, something like that. Yeah, there we go. That one should remain the way it is. Okay, so we have those three there. I really wanted to have the effect like, you know, when you are moving into the building, it's like you're passing through, you know, some trees and stuff like that. That's the whole idea. All right, coming here now, I want something different this way. Shouldn't be, let's not use the same. Let's see, what other options do we have here? Let's see something like this. And again, we'll scale this down. Yeah, I actually like this. Yeah, I think this is good. Scale it down again a little bit. Yes. Yes, this is good. Of this one, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. But then again, we play around with it. Now, of course, you can select all of them and just make Lumion to randomize them, but I always like doing this manually so I get the best effect. There we go, something like that. You don't also want to make it and it like takes out the ventilation and stuff. So let's move this back to the side a little bit. Or we can even decide to really make this to be small. Good, so we can still see the beauty of the building. Remember, what you're presenting is the building, not really all of these trees and all that. But you still need the trees just so to make the whole thing look realistic. Okay, there we go. So we have these 3 on the right, 5 on the left for this one. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, we have this done. Now we have all this going around. So let's go behind and we do these huge, humongous trees at the back first. So coming this way, back here, we have 2 here, 1, 2, and another 2 here. So we'll just do the same. Now, since this is close to the pool, you might want to use palm trees, but I would like to use something that can provide like very good shade that one can actually sit below. And of course, you know, palm trees cannot really do that. So we're going to be, the choice of trees here is really going to be something that can provide some good shade. And again, I'm still going to be using some fine detailed trees. Okay, but one that can provide shade. Good, something like this. But I think this is too much. Yeah, that's actually too much. Okay, something like this, something like this. Yes, is that shade enough? See if we have something else here. I think this is better too. Let's just see. Yeah, yeah, this does it. This is good. And we actually need 2 of them. So 1, 2. Good. And I'm just gonna drop this down just a little bit. Maybe rotate it a bit to face like that. So if you were to put a seat here, yeah, you see, you can sit. Yeah, so coming this way. For symmetry, we use the same trees. We use the same this way. 1 and and this one I'm just gonna make it to instead look a little bit bigger. And of course, can play around with the saturation a little bit, the hue, just to make it look that different, you know. And another thing we can do is, in order to really make this to look realistic too, what we can actually do here is we can also make let's put some leaves down here, because if you have trees, then of course you should have leaves, no, on the ground. So yeah, so we got weeds, and then of course another thing too is let's come back in front here. No, I don't think we can be able to do, we'll be able to do that here. I really want this to look somehow real, so watch what I'm gonna do here now. I'm gonna put some little pebbles here. Don't worry, they look big, but we can always scale them. Can always scale them and even move them down. Just a little part of it should be exposed outside, something like that. Because maybe in the course of doing this, there was kind of a stubborn rock there that is not really willing to move, you know. Yeah. And let's do another pebble, maybe somewhere here. And move this down. We move it down. Just a little part of it should be exposed. And then, of course, we can also decide to add some weeds. Let's do these leaves first. Just some little leaves. I don't really want them to be too much. Let's see. And actually, let me see. These leaves, let's drop down the scale a little bit. It shouldn't be that. These little trees here can't produce this amount of leaves. It just has to be small. I'll move it, say somewhere here. And then can just move it here. But now you see this is showing the same kind of pattern, which does not make it to look real. So we might want to maybe rotate it a little bit. Maybe bring it up a little bit and maybe increase the scale of this one. Or drop it down. Yeah. Why not even move it in a little bit, just so that just a little part of it should, yeah, there we go, something like that. And then we can actually copy that now and we place it somewhere else, say maybe here, here, just to add those irregularities here, you know, there and there too. Good. So it just look like leaves that are actually scattered all over the place. Now we can also add it here, of course. Up here, just scatter some around here. There we go. And then we can also add some weeds. Weeds are also very important. So if we just place some weeds here, say one, just random placement. Remember, this is the entrance, so we really want something that will look, but I don't want these weeds to just be like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select all of them, and then I move them down, say like this, just a little part of it should be exposed. And then of course I'm going to randomize size, just so they should be in a random order. Yeah, something like that. So you see this, if you really want to make this be realistic, there's really a lot of work. People just always just come in Lumion and they just rush and they just do things. No, you're trying to make things be as realistic as possible, so you need to be patient enough to take your time and you bring out the right results. Okay, it's all about being patient. Don't just come and rush and you just do things very fast and you rush and you go and you're rendering. No, take your time and you build your scene very well before you go to rendering. Now behind here, I want to just place some of these weeds at the back here too. In random order, select all of them. And I want to randomize the size first. And then I actually want to move them. You know, I don't want them to be too, yeah, change the size. I think they're a little bit much. Let's get rid of some of them. Maybe this one. Oh, so undo that. Get rid of this. Maybe that one. This one too. Yeah, something like this. Okay. So if we have that now, we can continue and we now do the trees this way too. As you can see, we have a couple of trees here, here. These ones this way are bigger, but these ones here kind of smaller. And now for this, in this case now, so the ones in front smaller, you know, and then this one's bigger. So in this case, I'm going to use palm trees. Okay, I'll use palm trees, and I'm still going to be using the fine detailed palm trees. So where do we have the palms here? So we have the smaller ones here. How do you know which is smaller? You can tell from the shadow of the person standing beside. So I'm just gonna place 1, 2 in the center of each of these bulbs. 4, 5, and 6. And this other way too, the same. Just 1. But then we still have to do the same thing. You have to play around with the sizes a little bit, because there's no way if you plant all these trees they're all going to be this of the same height. It's not possible. Not only playing around with the sizes, we can also play around with the rotation. You understand? Yeah, we can make one to, you know, rotate, and so they are not all facing the same direction. You can even rotate them manually if you want to do. You can also use this tools here to rotate them. Like you see, sometimes you place and it's cutting through this glass. Like this leaf was cutting, but now rotating it, it gives a better view, more realistic view. Look at this one. This is not real. You see, this is what I'm talking about. It's cutting through the grass there. So instead, what I'm gonna do here is I'll raise this one up a little bit. Okay, like that. For this one too, we raise it up a little bit. And then at this angle, I want palm trees just in front. At this angle, we're going to use some other tree types here. But we don't want something that is going to like block out the view of the building, but also want something that will give us some good shadows. So for this edge, let's see something like this. Yeah, this is actually good, but I want something bigger. So let's raise this up a little bit. And then we are just going to copy this. And of course, we play around with this too. You can already see how beautiful the whole environment is gradually turning to. We use those same trees at the left hand side here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is what we have as far as the trees are concerned. I think we get all that in place. We got the grass in place too. Okay, and now for the exterior, what we're going to do now is we're going to make this to really look real. And we'll be doing that by putting some trees. Why are they important? Because they are also going to cast shadows. Imagine if you're doing your rendering and there are no shadows that are coming from outside. It just shows, it doesn't show real. Like if I was to do a video and it's coming here and the sun is just hitting this place, what does that mean? Does it mean there's no building or even no trees at the back, and stuff? It doesn't look real at all. So that is why these trees are very important. Now I've said on the exterior, don't use these fine detail trees. They tend to take a lot of system resources. Why? Because they are really real. And it is very good. It is important you use this only on positions where you know that your camera is going to be focused on, like maybe when you are doing your video or something. But for the other trees around, what you can actually do now is we can actually just put normal trees out. Okay, yeah, we can just put normal trees out. So coming out here, what we're going to do now is we come back again here to place and go to broadleaf. So I actually want, the idea is to have trees that cast shadows. So we're going to want to get trees that are tall. Something like this. But I might want something that is taller. Of course, we can always increase the height, but yes, let's just say something like this. Or this. I'm not going to be doing single placement there, so I'll just do a line placement. But let us actually add, let's do different types of trees here, so there should be a mixture. I already have those two. Let's add this one too to make that 3. Alright, number of items, we just increase this a little bit and we populate this side. Is that looking like? What color of tree is that? Anyway, let's move this in a little bit. Let's move that in. And randomize direction, of course. Spacing along line. And of course the offset from the line will make some to be closer while some are further apart. That is good. We'll do the same thing on the left hand side here. shift this to come in a little bit. There we go. And of course behind. There we go. Let's bring this in. Okay. All right, now you already see the difference. You see what I was talking about, shadows? You see now that these trees are casting some shadows inside like this, which are really good. This is really good. So depending on what you want or the result that you want, we might decide to actually even come out here now and we even play around with some of these trees a little bit further, like maybe increasing the height of some of them just so that the shadows should be a little bit more. You can see that, right? Yeah. So you just have to do that with respect to whatever result that you actually need. Okay. So now that we're done with that, I think this is really looking good. But you will notice that there is a problem. I want that if I am bringing in my video, I shouldn't be able to see through all of this. Yes, even at the left there. Oh, out here, we still have to also place some trees. Have to place some trees out here. Actually, let's increase the number. Increase the spacing here. And let's add some different tree types here even. Okay. Now coming back here, like I said, I will want something that is not too tall. Oh, good, something like this. Let's see. Okay, that's better. Okay, now if we're done with the trees, we go to the cars. Okay, now up here, let's go back to the trees. We actually need to place some trees here too. Yeah, so something like this. I think there's one behind here too. Good. All right, and let us just save this. Okay, so let's say this is it and we are okay with this. Now, let's animate these vehicles in such a way that they are moving. And yeah, so I'm gonna come in here to movie and I would just want to record just something, even though it's not really the real movie or the real video. Let's bring this to 21 maybe. And then I just want to start somewhere here. Well, I would not really like to start and expose this because I don't want that point to be showing like the road ending there and stuff. So I'll just start maybe somewhere like this. Pick that, turn this way, but I move it inside. And then I zoom in again a little bit. Just so it should zoom in on the entrance. Put it around say 30. I move in front a little bit. And I take a second shot. And that is just it for this scene. Just this. Dance. Just like that. So that is the first scene. I come, I record the second scene. For my second scene now, since I showed that shot, I am now here at and I just want to take a shot like this. Now I come in and I turn left. Just this, take another shot. And I want to move in front a little bit and turn, and I show the entrance here, but maybe a little bit down, something like this. Yeah, something like that. Take another shot here, and that is it. Let's play that. Okay. And go to the third shot. And then we continue moving. I take one here. Oh, didn't even adjust that. I move very fast. Take the second one. Then I'm exposed to this backyard. See, like this. And that is my shot there. And I go to the fourth shot. The only thing I'm just trying to show here is just to go behind, and then we have the view of the pool. Take one again here. Come, turn this way. Take another one like this. Come, go up a little bit. This is what I want. I want a view of that pool. You know what, we're missing something here. This pool actually has to have a material around here, so we need to adjust that. And yeah, this is beautiful. Let's see how that plays out. So it comes like this, and it comes, and there we go. Very beautiful. Okay, I think that's okay. Yeah, that is okay. What did we notice? Coming here, we have to change this material. So to go back to materials, select this part that is around the pool, and let us just give that a kind of, I think around the pool here we should have like some very good decorative kind of ties, you know, since it's around the pool. Just something different. But something looking good too and professional, not. Okay, I like this. Yeah, something like this actually. Yes, something like this. Give it a little bit of wagering. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. And now, of course, I think this whole anyway, it depends on how we are going to want to render this. So let's just go back in the movies too. Then we select the first effect, which is this, the first scene rather, which is this. And then we're going to start with a custom effect this time around. We'll take a realistic effect like this one. And you can already see how what the difference that is already making. Oh, I think there is one thing that we haven't done. This road, we have to give it a pavement. We have to give this road a pavement, and that's an outdoor material, and that is the asphalt here. Good, something like this. Reflectivity, we can drop that down a little bit. Relief a little bit, glossiness 0. Okay. Okay, now the first effect that I want to add here is let's do the mass move. On the mass move, we edit that. The reason I'm doing this is because I want these vehicles to actually be moving. So I'm gonna bring it all the way here. And I turn off everything apart from the vehicles. No people, just vehicles. No groups too. And for the path, I want to increase the path to really be good, be big, rather. Make sure it takes everything. Then I want this to be two-way. Then of course I want the vehicles to be moving at this very high speed. Let's say maybe 50. Let's play that and we'll see. Okay, we have something like this. So that is not bad. But I think we should drop down the speed a little bit. It's looking a little bit too violent. Maybe we'll put it at 40 kilometers per hour. Maybe 45. Okay, there we go. And let's just go back. Real skies, I'm going to keep this at morning. Let's take this one. Let's look a little bit dark. Maybe this. Yes, I like that. And for the heading, that's for the sun heading. You don't want something like this. No, you don't want something like that. You don't also want something like this. So I think the heading, the default heading here is not bad. Let's just keep it like that, except we need to change it. The brightness just has to do with the clouds. So I want it to be bright or not bright or so. Then we'll just keep it somewhere. Overall brightness still has to do with let's just keep it somewhere there. Okay. And then let's just load in all the effects that shadow already have that there. And the sun, no, we don't really need that. Hyperlight is already in here. Let's turn this on. We want 2-point perspective. Do we have that there already? I don't think so. Let's bring this in. Make sure that it's enabled. Of course, we need a little bit of fog. A little bit of fog there. For the fall off, for the fog. Now, if you increase it, well, you cannot really see it here well. But I'm going to display that shortly. Precipitation, of course, we're going to want this. We need a little bit of that. I want to, yeah, let the face be the speed, the quantity, size, block by plans. No, fog addition. This is not really needed since we're already. If we increase this, it's gonna bring in a little bit of fog, as you can see. You see the clouds and stuff. But yeah, I think this is okay. So I'll just keep this like this. Rain streaks on glass is not really important since we're not really getting close to the glass and stuff like that. Let's just go back. Another thing I want to add here is the wind. Shadows, we already have shadows. Let's see. Let's just add the wind a little bit. Now for the wind, you can play around with the speed, whether it is moving in the X direction or the Y direction. And you can actually play around with that here. Now if you watch the trees, you can see the way the leaves are moving. So let's put that in the Y and we'll see. Put X at 10, Y at maybe this. This is the wind speed. You want it to be want it to be faster. So you actually see the leaves moving and stuff. I think since we have trees here, we can actually do that. So the direction, let's just keep it. Okay. And let's see. What else do we have here that we can actually move? Use motion blur. This is also good, but we will not actually use a lot. Keep it at maybe 60. And for the enhancements, yeah, let's bring in color correction is already there. Let's bring in the bloom. But the bloom will not do that to be too much. You can just put it at maybe 6. What is the exposure? I'm going to want to make this exposure to this is already looking. Let's put it at maybe 0.6. And to sharpen this, just bring up the sharpen maybe 0.2. And the reflection. First thing is I have to pick up the reflection planes, and let's add this plane right here. I'm going to just increase the margin a little bit, just a bit, say like that. And of course we're going to want this to also be plain. I think we've increased that margin a little bit much. Anyway, that's fine. And here too, one reflection plane there, another one here, another one here, and of course behind here the water. Yes, here too, here too. Our video is not picking that part, so there's no need. So we'll just click on finish, and skylight, we keep that a normal. And for the shadows, soft shadows and vegetative shadows always standard on Omni shadows. This really works well, but for interior shadow correction, let's just move this up a little bit to 0.1. Brightness of the shadow, don't really need the shadows to be that bright since we're not really doing a scene that is too close and stuff. I think the bloom we need to, okay, here for color correction. Now the temperature here, since the scene is a little bit dark, we might want to just increase that a little bit. Tint can remain the same. The brightness, let's see, let's bring that up a bit. Contrast, we drop that down a bit instead. And then the gamma correction, limit low, we just bring that to say maybe point, yeah, just somewhere there. Limit high, allow that all the way up. Okay, which other effects do we have here that we haven't picked? Yeah, clip plane, we don't actually need that in this case. And let's see. All right, let's see what we have here. What result are we having here? Okay, there we go. Now let's play this with this effect and let's see. So we got the first vehicle that, yes, we got the vehicle moving away, and then another one that is actually coming down and passing. Oh, I think this is a beautiful clip. And another one that is coming now to just pass just before we see that. Yeah. Okay, so what we just do now is we copy this, copy that effect, we paste it here. Let's see how this. I think this is a little dark, if you ask me. So we might need to let's do a little bit of adjustment here. Let's come to the exposure, and we can just increase that a little bit to maybe 70. Yes, I think this is better now. Let's see it here. Yes, this is better. Oh, this. Yes, 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 this is good. And then here, let's see this view that takes us all the way to the pool. And I think this is really beautiful. Yes. I think the bloom, you can just add just a little bit again. Motion blur instead. Reduce this back a little bit. Okay, and there we have it. So this concludes our work. Now, of course, you know what you need to do from here now is if you want to render this, it's just a question of you now going in and doing the rendering. Let me just paste. It's a question of you can render the individual clips by clicking on render clip, or you come here to render and it's going to render all the clips at once. So if I wanted to render just this clip, I'm just going to click here. Then I put my settings, then I select the rendering quality that I want here. It can be small HD, full HD, quad HD, or 4K, as you can see. Yes, you can also increase the FPS, and stuff, but the 30 FPS is not bad. Between 30 and 60, that's not bad. Here for the image sequence, this is not really important, except you want to take this and move to another software like maybe Photoshop, especially for the side of the pictures. But I think there's really no, don't come in here if you don't know what you're doing. Just stick here, okay? Yeah, just stick here. So you can render anything between, say, HD, full HD, quad HD, as your system can support it, and stuff. Yeah, but rendering output quality, if you can put it at everything high, that will be good. But if not, you put it at good, also depending on how your system is. So that wraps it up for this tutorial. And I am going to render this project. I will render it, and I'll upload the video, of course, on the Facebook page and YouTube too, so you can see the final product of what this we've been working on, what is actually really gonna look like after the rendering has been done. And if you have any questions, of course, even if you're going to be watching this after the this live, always just drop it in the comment section and we are going to try to attend to that. Also, for all of you who have not yet taken our BIM course, we actually cover in-depth details of all this. So if you really want to be a real professional and really take your skills to the next level, you can sign up for our BIM course. Send us a message and we will actually get you included into the course. All right, thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure having you all, and see you all tomorrow.